The Indiana Pacers have pulled away with the 4 seed in the East and quite frankly have looked better and better since this season has gone on, which for a lot of young teams, we would say is a very dangerous sign going into the playoffs. So today we are going to discuss how good is this Indiana Pacers team when it comes to playoff time. And of course, we've got to start that, I think, with one of their most underrated pieces and one of the most underrated players in the league, and that's Myles Turner. Again, just the sheer ability that Myles Turner provides for a team like the Pacers is always going to be important, right? He's going to gather, get the separation, does a great job of rolling to the rim. And I think, again, he provides you 2 levels of scoring that are very important for a big man. You can get him right at the rim. He's going to do his job. And he can also spread the floor out, and he's going to shoot it. And he's going to shoot it well. Again, like even last playoffs, Turner was actually a very productive player. And again, does a great job slipping the screen, gets it over to Nembhard, and again, takes advantage of Jokic's, falling asleep on defense, right? He's supposed to roll back here, if I had to guess, right? But now it's too late. They just do a great job. Turner is really good at, positioning himself for this team. And when you have guys like Nembhard, especially Haliburton, right, who they're going to get you the ball when you need it. Like when they see you have yourself open and very legitimately positioned, Myles Turner is a legitimate threat for this team offensively, and we're going to get into him on the defensive side of the ball as well. But again, let's just take another look, right? Slips the screen action. Jokic, again, just absolutely lost on where to go. Gets the 3 ball, right? And again, this Pacers team has actually been, I think they're like 15th or 14th in defensive rating. Now, but Emster, that's mid, that's average. Sure, absolutely. However, considering they were damn near dead last year, and now you're slightly above average, right? And you most of your pieces stay the same, right? The Siakam has a full year with the team now. Turner's been with the team. Haliburton's looking better. Like the defensive side of the ball, the liability there isn't as strong. But again, let's just keep going and looking at Myles Turner. Again, Haliburton, great job slowing it down, dump off 3 right in Jokic's face, right? Again, for a team like the Pacers who like pace, who like to, to push, to have a center who can do an interior roll or an exterior shot, I think is super important, especially when you're in the East, right? You got teams like the Celtics, you got teams like the Cavs who can, they got 2 bigs, right? So if you can force at least one of them to come out, right, you can create some really tough situations for those kinds of teams. And then let's get into Myles Turner as a defender. And then we're not going to spend as long on this, but I think, again, it's important to note, right, like the defensive side of the ball really helping. Because, again, now Turner goes all the way back. He waits. Braun comes over. Nembhard does a great job of helping. But, again, Turner's patient on this, right? He waits. Braun goes up. He gets the piece of it. And, again, for an Indiana team where defense has always been their biggest issue. And again, Turner's a mobile defender too, right? Like you got Jokic on the perimeter. Great job, shuffling his feet, not letting himself get completely blown past. Keeps right in front of Jokic, not letting him get too uncomfortable. And does a great job of just getting the hand to where the ball would have to go if he's trying to go up with it. And again, that's just great straight up defense by the Pacers. And again, now you're in a clutch situation and you need a stop. Jokic does a great, again, Turner, great job shifting, not letting Jokic get too much, forces the bobble and then the poke. And again, that's a clutch time situation. Defensively, what Myles Turner helps provide to this team is going to be important come playoff time. And again, I think his offense is more than complementary enough that it will translate into the playoff setting. Now, the biggest thing I'm going to talk about here in this entire video, so I hope you guys got this far. If Tyrese Haliburton is an aggressive scorer, the Pacers can get to the second round and possibly, depending on how good the Cavs really are come playoff time, if, Garland and Mitchell are still doing well, make another Eastern Conference Finals run, is if Tyrese Haliburton is aggressive as a scorer. He needs to want to attack. He needs to make defenses really respect him as a player, as a shooter, as a scorer. Because again, it's similar to Trae Young. when Trae Young gets into a playoff setting, a lot of the times, teams know how to ice, double, hedge, and force Trae Young to be very uncomfortable. And when that happens, and his scoring is, not going very well, he's chucking a bunch of threes, and it's a bit different than Haliburton, because Haliburton just becomes so passive. He doesn't even, try to shoot, try to score. Trae Young, right, they'll hedge him, shut him down. Haliburton needs to stay aggressive. He needs to force this team to respect him as a defender, because, again, if they do that, his passing ability is up there with a lot of the best players in the league. Just a sheer passing ability, right? The ability to read the floor and make the right pass or read. Again, Haliburton needs to show that he's aggressive and going to take what he needs to get his. Because, again, they're trying to compete. They're trying to win. And if Haliburton is passive, this team is, they might get their ass whooped in the first round. If they played Milwaukee, and if Haliburton's playing passive, they might get destroyed. You cannot be passive if you're Tyrese Haliburton, and if you want to actually make a legitimate playoff run again and show that, last year wasn't just a fluke or a one-off. If Haliburton is aggressive, right, again, gets the screen here, right, gets the more on him, slows it down. He does a good job, too. He's showing his eyes, right, because Ellis is looking over, trying to stop the possible pass, breaks past, tough at the rim. In clutch time, right? Haliburton needs to remain aggressive. If he is not aggressive, the Pacers will not go far in the playoffs. But if he's doing similar to what he's done in this game against the Kings, if he's willing to go downhill, if he's going to try and create a three for himself, and, force teams to respect his game as a scorer, then we're talking. But they go as far as he goes. Yeah, in terms of aggression. If he's not aggressive enough, they're not going to win. And if he's more aggressive, their chances are just exponentially better. He needs to show why he is the best player on the team night in and night out, and why that helps on the offensive end, not just as a passer, but as a scorer. And then finally, we got to talk about his running mate. Pascal Siakam has had a sneaky good season for this Pacers team, and he's been a big, support for them. When, Haliburton had that first half of the year, even when I made that video of did the league figure him out, we're now looking at Siakam was basically the one putting the team on his back to keep them afloat, keep them competitive, and now, again, you've damn near got the 4 seed locked up. And again, Siakam does a great job of attacking in different ways than Haliburton or Turner do. He's willing to take those mid-ranges. He's willing to go more downhill and attack from the midi and the post. And, again, that's not really Turner or Haliburton's game. So, again, I think the scoring diversification is going to be important in the playoffs. And Siakam, even last year, I think it was against the Bucks, he had an excellent, playoff series. And, again, he's always been, a very consistent scorer. And, again, I think he needs to remain a legitimate Robin. If he's forced to be Batman, right? If Haliburton is passive, like I was talking about, this team is cooked. I think Siakam's a really good player. He's not good enough to be your primary scorer. He might for one game or two. Again, that's what a Robin can do. That's the whole point. Is once in a while, you got to step up. Sure, that's fine. But if I'm asking you to do it over a 7-game series, now we're asking a lot. We just are, right? And I think ultimately how good this team is going to be very interesting. Again, Siakam just is really good. Again, there's a lot of high IQ basketball from this Pacers team, right? Siakam does a good job waiting in the corner, not really trying to announce himself, knowing McConnell's going to get in the ball, gets the and one, and again, they can keep themselves in the game. Again, Siakam, great job, gets downhill, waits. Everything breaks down, gets Trey Jones and Kobe White. But again, just the patience, the breakthrough, and the attacking of the rim. I think this Pacers team, I would say, is a dark horse in heavy air quotes. What I mean by that is they can make another ECF run. Would I bet on it? No. But if you came from the future and you said, Emster, Dame doesn't come back, they beat the Bucks in 6 games or something, right? Giannis had a series, but, again, it was just too much. And Garland and Mitchell, cooled off heavy, and Mobley and the lack of offense from the bigs at times cost the Cavs. Okay, I can see it. If you told me they made the finals and they beat a team like Boston, at that point, some dude on this team became a superstar caliber player for just these playoffs. I don't know what the hell happened. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a dark horse team? Do you guys think this is just a first round exit, second round at best kind of team? Do you think this momentum they have been building? I mean, they just beat a team like the Nuggets after Jokic had like a 40-point triple-double, right? Is this team legit? Or is this, going to show that last year was more of a fluke? As always, guys, this was Emster Knows Hoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.